Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry I'm so late. Wednesday nights are karate class, and I can't always... But here. I'm sure you're all... Day 11. I got my matches that I want to speak about. I've got matches for tomorrow, the playoff picture. We can talk promotion demotion if you guys want. And we'll see if a million of you chat tonight like you did yesterday. I was very impressed and happy to see all of you, but also completely overwhelmed. It's like, oh my goodness, this chat has gotten huge. So anyway, I will start in just a moment. Let's see if anybody comes on by. I'm going to just find 42 Opinions here on YouTube and send out the link to somebody. Here we go. Here's the link. I see you are here, Monster. Thank you. I hope you were able to... Oops. Sorry, I'm just trying to send a link out. Okay, I'm good now. I'm good. Hello, Habob Gob. Hello, Mitch. Did the baseball game end yet? All right, so let's get to day 11. Takayasu versus Endo. At the time, Takayasu was 8-2. Endo was 7-3. So Takayasu basically bear mauled Endo. He looks so strong, which tells you Takayasu's back must be in fine shape, and now he's fighting like a Ozeki that he used to be. So of course that means he's either not even going to get an opportunity to be in the playoff picture. He's so close, but the way this works, he may not ever face Onosato. And so we once again probably won't get the Cinderella dream of Takayasu, but one can hope. Next we have Wakataka Kage versus Nishikigi. 8-2 for both of them coming into the match. Nishikigi. Okay. I had written him off to be riding off into the sunset, going to be a part of the future retirees, and he comes back showing that he's still the man that's beaten Terunofuji multiple times. I think this was a good learning moment for Wakataka Kage because he's come back after the injury and he's been looking on a high, like, yes, this is working. I'm going to get up to Sanyaku in no time, and then I can try for Ozeki. Don't forget, there's things you still got to work on. You might be a little rusty. Nishikigi is not giving you a freebie. He really, he overpowered him, which is what Nishikigi does. I mean, not many people can push Terunofuji backwards the way he has. So now Wakataka Kage slips out of, there's probably no shot for him to be at the end unless Onosato has a complete collapse in the next few days, which it could happen. Mic issues. Hold on. It's so weird. I didn't have any mic issues before. Let me check my stuff. Let's see. Hello. Yeah. Am I back? Super quiet mic. Hello? So weird. Is it still quiet? Let me try another mic. This is kind of strange. Hold on. Hello? Something is weird. It might be Might be the cord I'm using. Because it's not the microphone. It's got to be the cord. All right, I'm back. I'm going to rant again. As long as you guys say that I am not quiet anymore, I will continue on. So, as I said, Wakatake Kage probably out of the Yusho picture at this point, unless Onosato has a complete collapse, which is possible. I don't know. I mean, when I get to Onosato, I'll comment more on some thoughts I have about him. So next I have Abi versus Kirishima. Abi already Makakoshi going up against Kirishima, who is trying to get back into Sanyaku, or get back into Ozeki, staying strong in Sanyaku. He looked pretty nimble out there. He outdances the dancing Abi, and he never lost sight of his ring position or Abi's position. So that's why he was able to basically out-Abi and pull it off at the edge. But he never looked like he was too off balance or that there was a chance his foot was going to go out. He played that very well. And this is the thing about Kirishima that made him so successful prior to these injuries and whatever else happened in his Ozeki time. He's a smart fighter. He knows the ring. He knows his opponent. He has lots of things he can try, right on the fly. And we're starting to see the old Kirishima back. I'm very encouraged by this. If he doesn't get hurt, I think that he's going to come right back to Ozeki. So, now we're going to speak about Onosato Kotoshoho. So Onosato did basically what you guys... This was the first time I really paid attention very, very specifically to Onosato's style. He basically did just do the go forward, and he's powerful enough to push people out. But what's interesting is that right at the edge, Kotoshoho almost did something. Now, this could be Onosato's nerves. I told you once you get to 10-0, things usually go crazy. So there could have been some nerve in there. Maybe that's why Onosato came back a little bit. Maybe that's why he fell, was able to get a little off balance. We were talking about this last night. I think the parry would be a good way to beat Onosato. The problem that guys seem to be having is that once Onosato glues himself to you, he's so strong he can walk you out. So you can try to go low on him, but he's ready for that. And we've seen him read the Henka, and he was ready for that. So it's almost like you got to be able to withstand the Tachi-ai, then slip to the side after the fact, and just throw him off balance, and you'll have him. And some of these more seasoned guys, Onosato's so green. He's doing so great because he's so big, and he does have Kisanosato teaching him what he needs to know. But he's green. You could exploit him. This is not done yet. It's looking close to done, but it's not done yet. Yes, we do need Zensho Breaker Tohakuryu to stop Onosato. I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit on the comments, but it's true. We do need somebody like a Tohakuryu to do something, and it would embarrass Onosato, and he wouldn't see it coming, I'm telling you. Okay, so now we have Ura versus Hoshoryu. Now, this is a hard match because no one ever wants to see Ura lose. And if you're a Hoshoryu fan, you never want to see Hoshoryu lose. So one of our guys was going to lose, and unfortunately, it's Hoshoryu. I feel like he let Ura get in his head before the match even started. And we always talk about Ura, because Ura has said in interviews that he doesn't plan ahead, that he just kind of feels the match out and see what he's going to do. It seemed to me like he knew exactly what he was going to do in this match. He went in low, Hoshoryu read it, but the Ura was not done. He knew exactly how to put Hoshoryu off balance. And it just took him down. At this point, the best thing for Hoshoryu is to just get that Kachikoshi and forget September ever happened. Just don't think about September. This is probably his worst tournament since he became an Ozeki. That's not necessarily true record-wise until it's over. Hopefully he gets his Kachikoshi, but Forget this one. It never happened. And I was also thinking as I was watching this match, it's got to be so tough to fight Ura because the whole crowd is rooting for him. They get exponentially louder when Ura's in the ring. It's fantastic. But like if you're fighting him, it's like, wow, I'm fighting a rock star today. It doesn't matter that I'm Ozeki. Ura is more popular. And if he beats me, the place is going to explode. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. So now we have Kotozakura versus Daieisho. This was a fascinating match. So the first thing I'll say is the fire that Daieisho brings is what Kotozakura lacks. I will say that Kotozakura really did try to go forward. He really did try to go aggressive. But he just seemed tentative, almost like there's no way I'm going to beat Daieisho. Either that or Daieisho was just so darn confident that he's like, you're going to have to break my arms to send me out of this ring. Because even when Kotozakura had Daieisho on the ropes a little bit, it still felt like it was Daieisho's match. Now, it's possible that the injury that Kotozakura has, like it's his foot, maybe it really is bothering him. And as soon as he starts going backwards, like he just doesn't, because like Daieisho pushed him so hard and he was off balance and he like gave up. And then Daieisho pushes him out. So either he doesn't have the confidence or he doesn't have the confidence because his foot's all messed up. Either way, props to him for trying to be offensive against a very rough and tumble guy. But he's lacking the fire. He's just got to take a page out of Daieisho's book. Or even Aoyama. I mean, Aoyama, bottom of the barrel, probably going to end up retiring. That dude never, ever gives up. He's like yelling and grunting, and he looks like he's going to kill you. And he's got nothing, but the passion is there. So maybe Kotozakura can turn things around if he gets healed up. So our playoff picture is this. 11-0 Onosato. 9-2 Kirishima. 9-2 Nishikigi. 9-2 Takayasu. 8-3 Wakataka Kage. And 8-3 Oshoma. I've sort of written Oshoma out already, but maybe I shouldn't. I'm writing Wakataka Kage out as well. I mean, 3 behind. Onosato really would have to just crash and burn at this point. Tomorrow, we have Hoshoryu versus Abi. Abi is having a horrific tournament. He's 2-9. He's obviously hurt. Nothing is working. But everybody brings their A game against Hoshoryu, and he is weakened. I mean, Hoshoryu is having some ego issues, especially after the loss to Ura today. So, you never know. Hoshoryu should handle Abi just fine, but you never know. Then we have Kirishima versus Kotozakura. Kotozakura at this point with the loss today, definitely out of it. It will be interesting to see these two fight again because the last time they did, Kirishima was not in the best shape. And it will be interesting to see the very nimbleness of Kirishima against the massiveness of Kotozakura. Next, I have on here the Onosato versus Wakataka Kage. Now, this could be a fascinating match because Wakataka Kage was very salty about losing today. I don't think he expected to lose. He wanted to stay in the playoff picture. Wakataka Kage is capable of a henka. He likes the henka. And I think, Onosato did a good job reading Kirishima's henka. He might expect Wakataka Kage's. But either way, if Wakataka Kage can withstand it, he can definitely run circles around Onosato, and it's going to be tougher for him. Wakataka Kage can do a lot of things. He's a very nimble guy. So if anybody could beat him, put his first loss on him, it is Wakataka Kage. And he's coming off fresh from a loss he didn't expect. So I expect him to come out tough against Onosato. And one of the big things that I was saying to John, and I'll say to you guys, is that Onosato is still green. You can't give him experience. This is the experience. Whereas Wakataka Kage has been through some stuff. He's been around a while. That matters in the ring. You can almost see with Onosato, like, the nerves are there, and he's doing the very basic of sumo, which is just keep going forward. Glue yourself to your opponent. He's not doing anything too flashy. He's not doing anything too exciting. He's trying to just keep himself together. So, I think that's going to be the big match of the tournament to start. And if Wakataka Kage wins, then we'll have more big matches. If he loses, this thing is done. Onosato will be 12-0. He will be assured his Ozeki promotion. No question about it in my mind. Because if you go... The magic number was 12 wins. But not only does he have 12 wins, 12-0. So unless he completely falls apart, I think they're going to give him Ozeki. So, huge match for him tomorrow. If he goes 12-0, definitely a lot of this list can be eliminated. No, maybe not. Anybody who loses tomorrow, so like if Wakataka will be officially mathematically eliminated, Oshoma not necessarily, and then our 9 and 2 guys, they could hang in for one more day, and then if, basically this thing could be over Friday. Very possible, but we'll see. Okay, then we have Takayasu versus Hidaomi. I kind of wish Takayasu was getting somebody else. Takayasu looks great. It'll be fascinating if he, goes 10-2 tomorrow. Hidaomi's going to go hard against him. Should be an excellent match. I hope Takayasu pulls it out because I think he's really... This could be the tournament. I'm just going to throw the scenario out there. It's probably not going to happen, but just let's have fun with it. Onosato starts losing starting tomorrow, and Takayasu keeps winning. All of a sudden, is this the tournament that Takayasu does something? Just saying. I'm not predicting it. I'm not saying it's even possible or even like super possible. Anything's possible, but I'm just saying it's looking good. It's looking good for at least to think about it. Then you have Daieisho versus Nishikigi. Now, this is a crazy one because, once again, when we're talking about experience, that's something that Onosato just doesn't have, and he can't just get it tomorrow. Nishikigi, one of the most experienced guy in the entire top division. So, say Nishikigi still keeps winning. Do we get like a Tamawashi Yusho where Nishikigi comes in and takes the whole thing? Could be interesting. Then we have Ura versus Endo. Only fascinating because winner gets Kachikoshi. Endo was looking good for a little while, so was Ura, but once again, they might both wind up 8-7. We'll see. But Ura looking fantastic, doing what he needs to do. Everybody loves him. He's just becoming a larger and larger legend than he already is. He's just amazing, okay? And then we have Oshoma versus Gonoyama with the mirror records. We have an 8-3 and a 3-8. Like I said, tomorrow Oshoma could probably get eliminated from this whole playoff conversation. He should be able to beat Gonoyama. Gonoyama's looking terrible, and Oshoma's actually a pretty decent fighter, it seems. So, that's my list. I'm going to go through your chat now, which is a lot smaller than it was last night, so I might be able to actually get through it. Okay, I'm going to get past all the mic issues. I'm glad that's good. Okay, let's say hi to Mitch. Ha Bob Gob, Monster. STZO2 is here. Joe Nelson is here. B Money is here. Hello, everybody. Let's read some chat. Today was the first time Onosato took a step back at the Tachiai this whole basho. Like I said, 10-0 is when people start to freak out, especially if you're as young and as green as he is. And he's been here before where, you Yusho was on his mind. Ozeki was never on his mind before. So he's got both of those pressures, competing in his brain. He's nervous. I saw it today. He's nervous. I'm very interested in the Kirishima versus Kotozakura match tonight. Kiri has a 12-4 lead in their matchup record. I'm not surprised about that at all. Because Kotozakura is very defensive, but so is Kirishima. So the two of them, somebody has to get offensive. And I actually think Kirishima's a better fighter. I could see if Kirishima stayed healthy, at least him being a long-time Ozeki. I was really shocked when he fell out like he did. I think he's too talented to be he's not a Shodai or a Mitake Yumi. No way. I'm going to go back for 1 second because I missed these top comments. Are we still in Nagoya? What's with all the slipping and falling? I have no idea. Did you hear about Kota Nawaka screaming in the bathroom after his loss? No, but I like the sound of that. That means he does have the passion. I felt like maybe, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but for myself personally, I felt like I was a little too hard on him last night. I don't take back anything I said in terms of I do feel like he's lacking passion, and I do feel like he's just too soft for a big guy. But I don't dislike him. I just want to see him turn it up a notch during the matches, and then be a gentle giant afterwards. That's cool that there was a walk-off home run. Love walk-off home runs. Okay, now I'm back down here again. Oop. So what you're saying, yep, I read that one about Tohakiryu and Onosato. I think Onosato looks like he's more in control than July. He definitely looks more in control. He looks more dominant. But I still feel like to some degree he's still doing basic sumo. Just, and it's the smart play. I mean, if you're that big, yeah, just go forward. Use your power. But he looks a little like that's all he can handle right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, the guys haven't challenged him enough for us to see him pull something else like a throw. But he definitely looks better than July. He had to fight against Kisenosato in training, which, I mean, that's such a bonus. Kisenosato was just as large as he was as Yokozuna. So he's learning a lot, and he's taking it seriously. How drunk do we need to get the shrimps to get them to send a Juryo 10 to fight a Sekiwake? Basically already Ozeki on a Yoshi run. Yeah, probably not going to happen, but would be great. Probably Hoshoryu's worst Ozeki tournament since his 8-7 on his debut tournament at the rank. Yeah, this is his worst tournament. Hopefully he still gets an 8-7, but I feel like he looks the worst I've seen him since he became Ozeki. Lots going on. He does have the hip issue. His, high school coach died before the tournament. Asashoryu's going through cancer. Hopefully, I heard that was all, in a good place, but maybe the dude's got a lot on his mind. I don't know, but this has definitely been the worst I've seen him fight. Hello, Joe. Kotozakura had a chance to win, but just couldn't finish. It seems to be a reoccurring problem. Yeah, Kotozakura does not look comfortable when he's being offensive. It's like he's content to have the fight come to him because he's so large he can absorb most attacks. And then he's going to toss you at the edge. Or slip to the side and push you out. He doesn't seem comfortable in himself going forward. And that's like one of the big complaints is that this is this huge dude who's so defensive. He's a reactive fighter versus, controlling the pace of the match. So he tried. I got to give him credit. He really did try. But Daieisho, man, he's a brawler, man. Daieisho could be like having a losing tournament, and you still could lose to him because he's really fired up that day. So you got to bring your A game against Daieisho. B Money says that the injury to Kotozakura is the ankle. My mistake. Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with Wakamoto Haru, who previously had a foot injury that seems better now. We will talk about that later. Banzuke luck could save Aoyama yet. We will see. We can talk about that with the promotion-demotion discussion. Onosato still hasn't faced Hoshoryu. No, he hasn't. And he's got to fight Wakamoto Haru still. And he'll probably fight Wakataka Kage. So, I mean, he's got the tough fights left. But all those guys, not Wakataka Kage, but both Kotozakura and Hoshoryu don't look that good. So, unless they can fire themselves up for these matches, Onosato could win. It's not impossible. He's looking strong. They are not. Did anyone ever pencil in Oshoma? I sure as hell never did. I'm not surprised. I mean, he's been doing good the last couple of tournaments. It does not surprise me at all to see him 8-3. I think he had an off one in July, but before that, he did something very similar. So, I am not surprised. I am yet again highly impressed with Oshoma's sumo. Give him some time, man. He might be in the discussion sooner than we think. Wakataka Kage is looking good. Yes, he is. He really got defeated today because Nishikigi was better. It wasn't him making a mistake. Nishikigi just really wanted to win, and he did what he needed to do. That's an exciting matchup. I think you're referring to Wakataka Kage versus Onosato. Oh, no, you're talking... Well, Monster's talking about Kirishima, I think. No, I don't know. Let me read it. Pulling specialist plus the Mongolian throw game. If there was a sumo game, Oshoma is the kind of fighter I would have made for my career mode. Have they ever even faced off before? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about Onosato Takayasu? Waka is similar to Takeru Fuji, which gives Onosato problems. I think Wakataka Kage could give him problems. But he's got to be on his complete A game. Because Onosato is very, very strong. And Wakataka Kage is a little bit smaller. I mean, he's a pretty strong dude, but he's lightweight compared to some people. So he's got to be careful he doesn't get, bent over backwards into a pretzel. Onosato versus Wakataka Kage will be a first-time matchup. Oh, boy. That makes us even more hype. He's as accomplished as a Scholastic Ricochet gets though. Yes. Onosato's last 4 matches are going to be tough for him. They should be tough for him. That's the truth of the matter, right? That's not to say, he's got no skill, but he is the up-and-comer. So those guys should give it to him. They should be hard matches. He should have to grind it out to win. Or else he's never going to be what we need in Ozeki. We need some tough Ozekis. So we need some serious experience, some toughness. I hope these matches are wild. Wakataka Kage, Kotozakura, Hosh, and Abi. Not sure about Abi. Yeah, I think Mitch agrees. I'm thinking they'll pass on giving him Abi. I think so too. Oshoma fights Gonoyama. Not too bad of a matchup for an 8-3 at all. No, but man, what is going on with Gonoyama? He just seems to be getting worse. Yeah, I suspect no Abi. You just can't see who the 4th will be. The 4th will be possibly Takayasu or Nishikigi. Very possible. But by that point, it might not matter. It really depends. Like, if Onosato just keeps winning, he might just win the Yusho on Friday, and it doesn't really matter who he fights on the final day. Which would be so disappointing if Takayasu doesn't even get a shot at it. Or another playoff with Wakataka Kage and Papa. Yeah. Could you imagine if he winds up in another playoff for the Yusho? I think they'll give him Takayasu or Nishikigi on day 15, depending on who does what. Yeah, it's very fluid at this point. Mitch, I was just going to say that. Or Nishikigi. And I just said it too, so I think we're all in agreement on that. Oshoma just choked away the great score he would have got last Basho. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Oshoma last Basho. Everyone agreed Kirishima was the strongest of the Ozeki before the injury. Yes, they did. And then as soon as he dropped out of Ozeki, it's like people forgot who he was. And just were like, yeah, he stinks. Let's move on. It's like, no, he doesn't. He's not even Sanyaku level. He's definitely Ozeki level. It's just, is Ozeki his ceiling? And that's the problem we've run into with all of our Ozeki, is that they're great. Not all of them, but, we've had great Ozekis that's as high as they're going to go. But Ozeki also used to be the top rank. So nothing to be disappointed in. That is for sure. If you can be just a great Ozeki, hey, you had a good career. I'm not sure about Kotozakura having passion. He may be yelling in the bathroom that he needs more fiber. Okay, Mitch. It's like a reoccurring theme with you. No, I saw a glimpse of passion in the match today. I don't know if I said this on the live stream last night or if I was talking to myself. It was probably the live stream last night. Maybe being in a sumo family just makes it hard to motivate yourself the way you need to motivate to do well. And the reason I say that is it's just always been in his life. It's always been a thing. There's always been pressure. It wasn't just the thing that he got into and it was his thing that he owns and he wanted to be the best at it. There's all this pressure and all this history, and maybe he just doesn't know how to switch gears from the thing he's always done to the thing that belongs to him. So maybe he has passion, but it's not directed in the right place. And he might not know how to do it. Maybe his coach needs to come up with some methods. Speaking of the shrimps, I read somewhere that Otowayama Oyakata, Kakuryu, is making his shrimp debut tonight. Yes, I heard that. That'll be interesting. Did you see Haku Oho's match? Looked like he twisted his right knee. He was limping after. The Yobidashi had to help him down the dohyo. No, I did not see that. That's extremely disappointing. When he got the shoulder surgery and dropped down, and then Hakuho's situation, I got worried. I'm like, oh no. Is this going to be one of those guys that had such a bright future and it's not to be? It's not looking good. I think he's still very, very young though, so we'll see. Is Kotozakura's inconsistency coming from fatigue due to having longer matches because of his defensive style? I don't think it's fatigue. I think inherently if you're going to be defensive, you're going to be on the losing end more than you should be. That's not to say that super defense can't overcome offense. It's just you have to be so perfect to win that way. And he's the Ozeki, so he has a target on his back all the time. So I really think it's just he's got to be perfect if he's going to do defensive sumo, and he's just not perfect yet. Gonoyama and Shonana Umi paralleling their careers yet again. Yeah, Shonana Umi's having a rough go. I'm gonna say, well, after what happened in July, it's okay for this to happen to you in September. Maybe I'll feel for him another time. Kirishima has a winning record against basically everyone in the top division except Teru. Exactly. Kirishima is a stud. He just got some bad injuries. And look at him. It hasn't stopped him. He's going to come right back up. Unless he gets injured again. I always have to knock on wood. But Kirishima's the real deal. Can he be a super dominant Yokozuna? I have no idea. But he can be an excellent Ozeki if he stays healthy. Hello, Army. What's going on, wonderful people? Sorry I'm late. I was late too, Army. So you're not as late as you think you were. I was 20 minutes late. Speaking of which, it's time for round 2 of What's Wrong with Shonana Umi? Yeah, we had this question a couple months ago, and then he sort of righted the ship, and now we're back to What's Wrong with Shonana Umi? And of course, Mitch is going to give the exact thing he gives for many people, constipation. Yeah, I understand, Mitch. Why is this the thing you do now? I don't know. It's Mitch's like claim to fame now. Anyone want to take bets on how many Sansho they're going to give Onosato this basho? I'm going to assume not all 3, but maybe 2 out of 3. I don't want to make any predictions until I see what happens in the next, at least tonight. I want to see if he wins tonight. I was watching some South Park earlier and kind of got Mr. Hanky stuck in my head, spawn of all the fertilizer jokes. Makes sense. Maybe Koto has gotten too heavy. Some people have suggested that he's gotten so large he doesn't know what to do with his body. And that's possible. That is possible. There was a time when Takayasu gained even more weight. Like, he gained an enormous amount of weight to the point where you couldn't even see his neck. And he actually won a Yusho. He was so dominant. Like, he was blasting people out. But it wasn't good for him long term. So then he immediately lost some weight. And it took a little time for him to adjust. So, yeah, sometimes getting too heavy is not good for you. And maybe he needs to lose some weight. This basho is so lame. Onosho and Shimazu Umi are Kyujo too. Even Juryo feels diminished. Yeah, there's like nothing to talk about in Juryo. Like, we've had tournaments where we're like, yeah, and there's like 7 guys that might come up and the bottom guys. And it's like, there's only a couple of things to talk about this whole basho. It's like Onosato. I guess you could say Ura. There's plenty to say about him. Kirishima. And then it's kind of like, people are just doing things. I heard Shonana Umi has back problems. Well, that explains all of it. He's a real big dude. Back issues will spring up out of nowhere. So it's not like you can prepare for that. So that would be the perfect explanation. Let's see. I liked watching aggressive Kotozakura on the first 3 or 4 days of the basho, and now he's defensive again. Yeah, I don't know if he's going back to old habits or if the injury is a problem. We're going to hear some things when the tournament's over. There'll be interviews, and some guys will admit whether they were super hurt or not. I don't know if you already talked about it, but the Takanosho versus Oho match was fantastic. Guys, you're not going to believe this. That's the one match I didn't actually get to watch. Like, something happened, and I didn't see the match. I'm like, I went through the whole thing. I'm like, what happened? I missed the Takanosho Oho match. Now I'm going to have to go back. It was literally the only match I missed. So, of course, it was fantastic. So I can't talk about it. I really need to go back and watch it. Kirishima has a losing record against Onosato 0-3. Means nothing. Honestly, if Kirishima's on a resurgence, there ain't going to be nothing to stop him. Does anyone know if Koto has diabetes like most sumo guys? That causes major feet problems that can be dangerous. He's having feet issues. Possible. Diabetes is possible for almost everybody. I think Terutsuyoshi got diabetes, and that was part of why he was like, I'm not going to keep doing this. So, something to sort of look into. Maybe Chris Sumo will have some stuff on it after the tournament. Also, if Ura doesn't get some kind of prize, I'm going to be livid. He's going to get a prize. Come on. Everybody loves Ura. The judges love Ura. The crowd loves Ura. He makes money for everybody. Can we talk about Kageyaki doing awful? Yeah, all of a sudden, it's another collapse. He was finally starting to come up, rise from the ashes, and do good again, and now he's falling apart again. Dominance/greatness can be boring. Yes, it can be. We spoke last night about the Hakuho days and how when Hakuho was doing Zensho Yushos like 3 in a row, nobody else had a shot. And it was like cool to watch Hakuho, but then you started to like almost sort of root against him because you wanted to see somebody beat the guy. Because it just got to be same old, same old. But then, of course, once he retires, you're like, man, I really miss Hakuho because he was such a slick fighter. And all his matches look different. You go watch Hakuho matches, they're all different. He was very creative in the ring. That's something that we don't have enough of. I like Hoshoryu because I felt like there was some creativity when he's doing really good. Wakataka Kage is pretty creative. Ura, that's why everybody loves him. You never know what he's going to do. I've given up on Kim Bozan at this point. He is so quick to give up on a pushing attack, then go to the belt and lose. His pushing style doesn't even strain his neck like Keisho. He's on pace for Juryo. He's always seemed like kind of a soft guy. I don't know. Just maybe doesn't want it as much as some other people. Kageyaki is sad to see this tournament. Agreed. It is sad. Kim Bozan is a career-long injury case. Yeah, I heard that injuries were an issue with him. So that might explain why he's just got no shot. I think Koto's injury is affecting him more mentally than physically. I could really see that, honestly, because he was so, offensive today against Daieisho, and then Daieisho pushes him just a little bit hard, and Kotozakura, gave up. He wasn't out yet. I do think it's, demoralizing him or something. Kim Bozan is a Rikishi I'll root for no matter what. You gotta root for your guy. I've had plenty of Rikishi that I liked that it was obvious they were never going to be Sanyaku, but boy, I just loved him anyway. Did you see Terutsuyoshi win his fight? Huh? You must mean somebody else, because Terutsuyoshi is gone. Shodai issues his diabetes and feet. Oh, okay. That explains. Terutsuyoshi won. Cool. I thought Terutsuyoshi retired. I'm confused. Unless there's another Terutsuyoshi. Is Kirishima fully healthy yet? He doesn't quite look at Yokozuna level yet. I think Onosato does. Hoshoryu in the right mindset does. And if Kotozakura adds finishing ability, he does. I think Kirishima's fully healthy now. He's probably not at Yokozuna level yet, simply because, he just got knocked out of Ozeki a couple of tournaments ago. He's kind of starting from scratch. He's got to, keep himself measured, try not to get hurt, try not to max out all of his energy, and, he's got to get to Ozeki before he can start doing those higher level things. So right now I think he's being smart, measured, and he looks great. Hida Umi looked like he was going to be insanely good this basho, then something happened. Could be injured. It's possible. Hello, K-Bunny. Nice to see you. Expecting Hakuho to win might have been boring, but the way Hakuho wrestled is definitely not boring. Exactly. He was probably one of the most entertaining fighters because he treated every match differently. And sometimes he would do antics, which the Sumo Association didn't like, but I laughed at. Like when he'd go way back from the Shikiri-sen against Tobizaru, or, not engage on the Tachiai with someone like Ura. It's just funny. I didn't like this, but man, he really dogged Takayasu. And I remember one match he was fighting him. He basically, could see that Takayasu was already gassed, and he just stood there. It was trying to force Takayasu to do something. And he just couldn't, and so they just tossed him down. But he played chicken with him for a while in the ring. That's how good the dude was. And this is Takayasu, no injury, fresh up. Just Hakuho was a wall that no one could get through. Been a fun tournament so far. Big sad about Hoshoryu's performance. Yeah, Hoshoryu's a mess. We talked about this a little bit earlier. He's just got to get his Kachikoshi and forget about this tournament. Start all over again. He'll be okay, but he can't linger in what happened in this tournament. Okay, Bunny, I agree. There have been some really great matches. The matches have been great the last couple of days. I'm really upset that I missed this apparent amazing Takanosho Oho match. I'm going to watch it right after I get off with you guys. Hell yeah. Yeah, a lot of good sumo. Koto effort is reminding me of Ichi before he retired. Ichi who? Kirishima, 10 plus wins. Yeah, he's probably going to get it. Same lack of emotion as Ichi. Terutsuyoshi is doing MMA. Oh, yes. Terutsuyoshi is doing MMA now. Yes. I thought you meant sumo. Yes, I did know he was doing MMA. I got to check that out. See if I can find his match. Which is hard. You can't always find things. When was the last time someone went 15-0 in a basho? It was probably Hakuho. And it was probably like 3 years ago. The event with the Terutsuyoshi fight is on YouTube. Oh, sweet. Okay, I gotta go see that. I like Terutsuyoshi. I really did. So I want to see that fight. Oh, Teru did a 15-0? I don't remember that. When was that? Oh, Mitch says it down below. I'm starting to like Oho more and more. It seems like no matter his score, he gets a little better every basho. It's so cool to see him figure it out. He and Hosh will have a lot of good matches. I want nothing more than to see Oho rise to where he's supposed to be. John and I had high hopes for him when he first came up, and then it just never, ever worked out. And then we sort of gave up on him. And we're like, I guess this guy just can't hack it. But one thing I always noticed about him, and we're seeing some consistency to it now, is that the higher level fighters, he really shows up for those. But he was stuck down below for so long that we didn't get a chance to see him fight the higher level guys. So now we're starting to see his competitive nature come out, and we're starting to see him get some confidence. So I really hope this is the start of something for Oho, because I really like him. I want to see him be Hoshoryu's rival. I want to see this like legacy guys do their thing. Probably Hakuho still. The last Sensho would have been Teru in Kyushu of 2021. I didn't even realize it. So there you go. It's been 3 years. I think you are right. They didn't like Hakuho becoming bigger than the sport. Jealousy. Well, they didn't like yeah, I guess there's two parts to that, right? There's the whole raised nail gets hammered down. So like it's a collective society and no one should be bigger than the sport. Then there's the fact that he's Mongolian, but then he went and got Japanese citizenship. I mean, sumo and Hakuho are synonymous at this point. I read an article somewhere on the internet, on like a big publication, where they compared Hakuho to Roger Federer. Okay, so if the international press feels that way, I mean, he is probably the biggest name in sumo, at least since the Hawaiian guys. I mean, they got a lot of press back in the day because they were massive. I could see Kotozakura being a little like Ichinojo. Oh, Ichinojo. Jeez. Yeah, you know, Ichinojo, the thing about him, I could see the comparison between him and Kotozakura. Ichinojo had the back problem thing, and then he had the drinking thing. We don't know how much the drinking thing affected his sumo. Like, maybe he was coming in hungover. It's possible. I could see Kotozakura being a little like Ichinojo, but without the lean. Let's at least give Kotozakura that credit. He's a big dude, and I don't remember him leaning. He doesn't do the lean, so give him credit for that. I despise the lean. A Hanka is more interesting than the lean. Think I'm getting the name wrong. Mongolian retired after drinking scandal. No, you're right, Ichinojo. It's just that you put Ichi, and for some reason I couldn't fill in the rest of it. It's like, I don't know. It's 10:30 at night. I can't think. Yep. No, it's Ichinojo. Fighting with Stable Master's wife. Drinking scandal. Yep, that's him. Fun fact, Tamawashi had the most consecutive career bouts at 1631. Yep, he has the record now. How high is that for Oho? Maegashira 1. Let's take a look really quick. John and I were sort of talking about that. So he's Maegashira 2 right now, and he's 7-4. Atami Fuji. Let's look at the actual Bansuke. I think it might be slightly delayed, guys, so I'm talking about it, but I don't know if it's on the screen. Okay, so we have Oho Maegashira 2. Let me pull up the records. Do, 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 do. Okay. So we have Oho, Atami Fuji, Takanosho, Tobizaru. Takanosho losing the number 1 spot. Tobizaru possibly losing the number 1 spot. Atami Fuji possibly losing the number 2 spot. There is potential for Oho to get into the Sanyaku. Let's see. Depends on a few things. Hiraomi will have to... Both Hiraomi and Daieisho are in okay positions, but this could get precarious soon. And what do we got for Sekewake? Abi's going to be gone. Kirishima's going to be stuck. Onosato will be gone if he goes up to Ozeki. So what you have here is Hiraomi could take a Sekiwake spot. If he wins out, Daieisho could take a Sekiwake spot. Either way, there will be an opening and Oho could probably take it. Unless Atami Fuji gets his act together. And then they could possibly shut the door on him. Oh my goodness, so much chat. Okay. Oho and Hoshoryu both have sumo relatives who left in scandal. Oho's dad said he's sad he couldn't be Oho's Oyakata. Oh, I didn't know that about Oho. Oho has done so well despite his Oyakata never making Makauchi. Have we talked about Onosato probably setting another record? Faxes to Ozeki in 12 Basho. Onosato in his 10th if he gets his promotion. No, we haven't talked about that. That would be great. I always like when there's new records like that. Last night we were talking about Onosato and I went over his page, which I can do again right now. I mean, I always just feel like insane when I see this. It's so short. This is it. Makushita 10, Makushita 3, Juryo 14, Juryo 5, Maegashira 15, Maegashira 5, Komusubi, Sekewake, likely Ozeki. I mean, look at that. That's crazy. Not a lot of guys can say this. And obviously, only he will be able to say it if he makes Ozeki. Did Oho's dad win a Yusho, right? Fastest to Yokozuna is 22 Basho. That's kind of crazy because think about it. I don't think it'll happen, but just think about it. He gets to Ozeki. All he's got to do is win 2 Basho in a row, and then he's Yokozuna. He could blitz that record if he, stays the course. Because it's going to be the same people. I mean, with the exception of Takeru Fuji coming back up, there's nobody we're not aware of that he still has to fight. Yes, Quack, Takatoriki won a Basho in 2000. I'd rather watch that Ichinojo match that went to a water break than Onosato. Oh, I don't think you're fair to Onosato. Speaking of Ichinojo, there's a British teenager joining Ichinojo's old stable, Minato Bayo. Ah, cool. Be cool to see a British fighter. Sorry, didn't remember how to spell the rest, being too lazy to Google. That's fine. I mean, we give shortcuts for some of these guys. It's just I didn't remember them for some reason. Like I could remember Ichinojo. I don't know why. He was I talked about him for years. Musashi Maru's nephew was going to be in Maizumo this Basho. Oh, wow. Okay. There's a lot of competition for those Sanyaku spots. Yes, there are. But we have guys who are not... We have guys who are on a tenuous path, we'll say. Mushimaru. I want to see some fire from Koto, but hey, Hoshoryu my favorite, so keep it up, Koto. Let Hoshoryu heal up and get Yokozuna fast. Hoshoryu is going to have to go home and go back to the drawing board after this one. Just maybe meditate, go on a journey, find himself. It's going to be a mental healing as much as a physical. Just remember that when making the banzake, the default is 2 of each komusubi and sekiwake, and any extras are only done on a case-by-case basis. The extra spots aren't required to be there next time. Yes, good to note. They only give the extras if they really want to reward people, or if there's just a ton of people. It either goes that way. COVID, Onosato, Takeru Fuji. I can't tell if I like all these once-in-a-century events. Yeah, well, I don't think any of us like the COVID once-in-a-century event. Glad that's in the rearview mirror at this point. I'll tell you, watching sumo during COVID was both depressing and a lifesaver at the same time. Because literally every other sport in the world, maybe there were a few, but any sports I knew about were shut down. And the sumo guys, they kept going. So at least I had sumo. And that's actually part of how this show started. It was like, we gotta do something. He's got 2 years to beat that record. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. He could do it. We're not going to get to the promotion picture. Maria will never catch up to chat. What are you talking about? I am caught up to chat almost. I have like 4 comments left. Gee. Unless you guys keep going. This is the new form of stalling. Oh, you guys are just trying to keep me here because I was late. I mean, assuming that Onosato or Terunofuji, if healthy enough to fight, would be the favorite to win in November, he could win November and January and get to Yokozuna. Yes, in theory, he could. I think it's unlikely because if he does get Ozeki, he's going to have to go to all those parties and do all those interviews, and he's not going to be able to train, and he's going to be tired, and he's going to have that Ozeki lag. But maybe January, March. And you just don't know with Terunofuji. I mean, he's falling apart. But then, like, he showed up in July and they won the whole thing. He's just so much better than everybody else that you can't rule it out. The Makauchi Juryo flips are still so up in the air since we don't have obvious cases yet. Yeah, I don't know how much there is to talk about with promotion demotions yet. Yeah, there's a couple. The promotions are pretty cut and dry. All the interest is in the demotions. Yeah. I'm predicting a Taro Onosato face-off in January or March. Hakuho versus Terunofuji style. That would be cool. I would love to see that. I hate the injury rules, so these guys are making injuries worse and never properly healing during the basho. Change is needed. I heard they're talking about rank protection again for injuries. It does feel like this just isn't the way to go. I really feel that way. I know every time we talk about this topic, then we end up back where we started because it's like, well, people can take advantage of it, or this is sumo, blah, blah, blah. But I think we can all agree that it just doesn't seem right that they can't heal their injuries. Like, there's got to be something. Please, Nabatame, one more win, and hopefully he gets back to Juryo. Oh, well, that would be tonight, so maybe he'll do it. That's fair, but the potential lack of demotion cases may cause a huge logjam. Exactly. There's just no way to really talk about it. I mean, you can kind of. Little Dan Awanishiki and Juryo next basho. Oh, everybody's a fan. I haven't seen him wrestle yet. But when he gets to Juryo, I'll be able to. Properly healing before bashos, sorry. The only thing they could do is just have less bashos. Like, they used to have 4 and then they moved to 6. That's the only thing they could do. But I don't know that helps because during COVID they actually canceled one of the bashos and it didn't really help anything. But then again, they weren't training the way they were before, so I don't know. The Makushita Juryo flips, however, those are going to be hectic. I'm counting around 5 flips so far. I assume you have talked about Takayasu and the retirement rumors. K-Bunny, that was last night. There was so much talk about that. We even had Goose come on, and he was assuring me that it's not going to happen. So I'll just give you a little catch-up of what we said yesterday, because there's nothing more to say now. Word on the street is that Takayasu has been talking to his stable master by phone. He hasn't actually been coming down there. He's not going to make any decisions until after the basho. At first, it seemed like it was possible that he would fight through the end of the year. perhaps for money reasons or, there's some reason for it. Some people have talked about what if Takayasu just drops down, like gets the surgery, drops all the way down, and tries to do what Terunofuji did. We have talked about how that would be possible if he had a different injury with the neck. It's possible that it never recovers. So, I think it's highly possible that we get a retirement announcement on Tuesday. He said he would not give any announcements until the tournament was over. So I guess we have to wait and see. But it has caused me great distress and depression. And Goose is just telling me he's never giving up. So we'll see. Takayasu could surprise us. I don't know. But whether it's worth it for him to keep fighting, I also don't know as well. Army says it's destroying careers. I agree. It would be nice if careers were not destroyed by not being able to heal. How wild will Japan go when they get their first Japanese Yokozuna in years and he lasts longer than Kisa Onosato? Well, and he's coached by Kisa Onosato. I mean, it's like a full circle right there. Write that too. A Takayasu retirement would open up a spot and make things slightly easier. Yep. And you have some possible other retirements as well. You have Miyogiru, Aoyama. There's somebody else. Why can't I remember who the other person was? So you have potentially 3 retirements as well. But if the 3-3s and Makushita lose, they'll have to keep some awful records in Juryo. Less basho would be good for their health, but as a consumer, I can't help but feel conflicted. I don't know, maybe... The problem is, the March and July ones, they travel elsewhere. But I think if they just took July out, that would be better for everybody. So have a January, March, May, and then take July. I mean, maybe even you take May and July out. I don't know, though. May is a good tournament. Just take July out. I mean, nobody ever fights properly in July anyway. It's so hot. Less basho. Okay, we just read that. Apparently, we will know before the next Banzai is made of Keisho retires. There will be an announcement on Tuesday, no matter what. The way it works is that Takayasu isn't going to want to overshadow whoever wins the basho. So you'll have the winner gets crowned on Sunday, then they get their day, and then Tuesday is when all the business happens. But that Tuesday is like a Monday for us. It's like Monday night for us. So Tuesday, we are going to hear something about Takayasu. Whether it's a retirement announcement or it's, I'm not giving up. They used to have rank protection, but people took advantage of it. But Chris Sumo says they're talking about bringing it back. The only problem is these conversations, like things happen very slowly in Japan. So they're talking about it, but it still could be several years before it comes back, if it comes back at all. K Bunny says poor Takayasu. Yeah, it's a horrible shame that a freshly 28-year-old's career is done. Somebody was saying last night, like at 28, this should be the best years of his sumo career. It's just very unfortunate. But you look at someone like Asanoyama, who came up Ozeki at the same time, and he's gotten a way worse deal than Takayasu. So, Takayasu's gotten a lot of good considering all the bad. Yeah, but Miyogiru and Ayama would be getting demoted into irrelevance anyway, so that doesn't change much. Just the Yokozuna Deliberation Council commented about reconsidering the Kosho system, but they have no power, so it means nothing. Exactly. It's like a recommendation. And then they talk for several years, and then maybe something happens. I think rotating Rikishi for the tours and canceling the heat stroke tours in the summer would be fantastic. Yeah, it almost seems like just take the summers off. Just do it. I know that's when they, get to meet a lot of the fans. Maybe just do fan events in the summer. Let them train in their stables and then host a whole bunch of fan events. You can come to stables or you can come to this one thing, like maybe one exhibition match or something. But just let them have a break in the summer. Yep, take one out in the summer. They all hate summer. You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, July might be better next year when they actually have decent AC in the arena. This is true. Aoyama is 4th in the queue as is. He can save himself. Yeah, you were saying with a little bit of Banzuke luck. I agree the new arena can't take out July. They just built that thing. Well, that's the other factor. They could take out May, but that's a Tokyo one. They don't want to do that. But maybe May. I mean, they're already in Tokyo multiple times. If Aoyama loses one more time, he could get saved. But if he loses more than that, he's probably done. Yeah. John's having a rough go of it. Between Aoyama likely retiring and Hokuto Fuji just pulling out. I guess arthritis in his knees. It's just not good. And then I'm losing Takayasu. Man, it's rough. It's rough if you've been watching sumo as long as we have at this point. We've watched it long enough to see our guys go. But Takayasu should never have been one of them. Do not be fooled, Mitch. Massive under-demotions are a lot more common in Juryo than Makauchi. And yes, I would make that same point. It's a different ball game down there. Like you said, the Sumo Association is always resisting change. Well, it's a Japanese thing. And sumo is a Japanese product, and, this is just how it is. On one hand, we can be upset about it, and for good, understandable reasons. But on the other hand, part of why we like sumo is the tradition of it, the Japanese-ness of it. So it's like you got to take the good with the bad. We need at least one charity event a year for morale with mandatory sumo singing. Yeah, right? Get rid of the tour and just have a big karaoke event, and people will pay to see that and make money, and everybody will just be in better spirits. K Bunny says, I gotta go. Always love these live streams when I catch them. Let's go Zen Show You Show Onosato. Thank you for stopping by, K Bunny. Very good to see you. I'm curious what Aoyama's elder stock status is with Iwa Tomo Oyakato passing back in July. I wonder if he's going to pick up that Kabu. Always interesting to see what's going on with that stuff. Aoyama did get his Japanese citizenship, so obviously he's working towards trying to stay in sumo. Maybe when the next generation takes over, the older ones are going away. Yeah, it takes generations to change. So it may be 10 years. Maybe things will be different. 20 years. But even then, it'll be a slow change, I think. Change the tours, not the basho numbers. I kind of agree, but here's the thing. A lot of injured guys just haven't been going on the tours. And that hasn't fixed the problem. Why don't they partially protect rank, e.g. start at the bottom of the next lower division? I've thought of the same thing. Like, you could have like a placeholder. But then it makes it very complicated to do the rest of the Banzuke. You saw that with COVID. They needed to protect ranks during COVID because guys were forced out if they had a close contact with somebody. It was a mess. So it's like, oh, well, so-and-so tested positive for COVID, so you're out of the tournament too. But that's not their fault. So they just couldn't demote the guy. They had to save his rank. And they did it, though. They did it, so they're capable of doing this. But it was a mess. And then you had guys, oh, I have COVID, to save rank. Mitaki Yumi, there were some questions about that. So, I don't know. Did you see the sumo eating and singing contest? Atami Fuji and Shonan Umi ate like their lives depended on it. I'm not surprised. No, I didn't see it, though. I've been a little out of the loop lately. I've been so busy. I forgot how busy September is. By the time I get to November, it'll be cold and I'll be stuck in the house and I'll be able to watch all the sumo stuff I want. Chairman Hakuho. Yeah, if Hakuho manages to just keep his nose clean and he takes over someday, then we're going to see all kinds of change. It'll be interesting. But he'll have to be sensitive to the Japanese spirit, which I think he will to some degree. He's been in Japan probably longer than Mongolia at this point. He came when he was 15 years old. He's 37, so more of his life has been in Japan than Mongolia. So, you know. All right, guys. Starting to look at the clock. You're going to have to stall, or else this live stream is over. Anybody have any last things to say? We were so fired up last night that I couldn't even get through the chat last night. So, let me know if you got anything to say. Here we go. Monsters got it. Okay, finally, I can get to the picture. I really thought my prediction that Maria wouldn't catch up would come true. You must not be actually looking at the chat then. I still want to imagine a Chairman Hoshoryu. Can you imagine the kinds of speeches he would make? No, it's not ending yet. Not until you... I'm not going to end it unless you guys don't say stuff. I was sitting there for a while with no comments. Imagine if Kisa Onosato and Yoshikaze's training methods catch on. Breakfast? Inconceivable. Well, they're trying something. Thank you, and hit the like button. Yes, please, hit the like button. I don't want to say it because, that's a YouTuber thing, and I guess I am a YouTuber, but whatever. I still don't want to say it. But the like button is how people find your video. Hoshoryu, I was right. Let's go. If you want to talk about predictions, or if you want to talk about the picture, start talking. Thoughts on the My Hero Academia anime ending soon? I don't want to say any spoilers, so I'll just say this. I'm sad that it's about to end, but I also think that it was, and we're going to talk about this so Monster can get his predictions in. I think I'm torn. I think season 5 was so weird that if he had used his time better, there was more story to tell, and so you could have gone beyond the 7th season. But at this point, it's ending at the exact right time it should. I'm going to be sad because I feel like there's not going to be anything like it for quite some time. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying having an episode every week, so. Sad that it's ending, but it's the right time. Okay, Makushita Promotions. Tochi Taikai. Oh boy, here we go. I gotta come in closer, I can't see. Wakai Kari, Chiyomaru, Awanishiki, Nabitami. You'll be able to really solidify this after tonight. Teru is like All Might, the strongest despite injury, no clear symbol of peace. Instead, there's a big group of people vying for the top, yet no one establishes themselves. I like that comparison. It really is kind of like that. Juryo demotions. Chiyo Saikai, Miyogiryu. That's the other guy who's probably retiring. Miyogiryu. Chiyo Saikai, Miyogiryu, Kiriyuko, Aoyama, Oshomi. Juryo promotions. Chiyo Shoma, Toki Hayate Shishi, Takeru Fuji, with at least 13 wins. Where's he at right now? Win-wise. Asanoyama on the Juryo demotions. Yes. Don't forget that. We need a healthy Teru, Koto, and Hoshoryu to give Onosato a challenge next Basho. I don't know if we're ever getting any semblance of a healthy Teru, but Koto and Hoshoryu need to go home and do whatever it is that they need to do to relax and heal up. Because we need strong Ozeki. This time next year, who is going to be the highest ranked Rikishi from Ise Gahamabeya? Well, it should be Takeru Fuji, but I'm honestly concerned about his health. When you have ACL issues like he does, you don't just get them once. He's got to be very careful. So if it's not him, then it's probably going to be a Tommy Fuji, I would guess. Okay. Now we got Makauchi. Kageyaki's a demotion. Shirakuma. Kitonowaka. Nishiki Fuji. Onokatsu. Bushozan. Kimbozan. That's a lot of guys. They don't have enough Juryo guys to come up. If injuries don't play a factor, either Takeru Fuji or Tommy Fuji. A 75% terror still wins. Agreed. Takeru Fuji is 10-1 and fights the other Yusho contender Chiyoshoma tonight. Oh boy, I gotta catch that match. Now I gotta pay a little bit of attention to Juryo, because I definitely want to see that match. I gotta go back and watch the match I missed today, and then I catch all these matches. So just for your guys' information, I'm not going to do a live stream tomorrow because I am going to do the Sunday morning sumo show live stream, which is at 3 o'clock in the morning for me that night. And whenever I do a live stream, then I end up not getting any sleep. So this will be our last live stream for tonight, but then we'll do the recap show on Sunday, or actually we're going to record on Monday, and then I'll have to decide when to do that show. I might do it Monday night, so we'll have the chat going. I won't be talking to you guys, but I will be typing to you guys. It was his Achilles. Takeru Fuji's ACL injury was in college. Okay, Achilles, ACL, all these different things. This lower part of the ankle-foot connection, it doesn't just happen once. It means he is prone to injury. And part of that is he's got these tiny little legs and this huge upper body. He's just got to be careful. That's all I'm saying. Normally, I wouldn't have included 3 losses away, but Kimbo's on and Busho's on both look so bad, I think it could happen. Good. Thanks for the show. You're welcome, Army. If Chiyoshoma Henkas, that would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. I give Chiyoshoma always the pass to Henka. Interesting fact is that Onosato is 2-1 on Teruno Fuji in their head-to-head, with Onosato winning the last 2. That is interesting. Oh, yes, we will do Guess the Banzuke Live. That is now a thing. And if we get an official Takayasu retirement announcement, there will be several Takayasu live streams or tributes or something. I have to think about it. I've compiled a lot of footage, but I'm still compiling. There will have to be months of Takayasu stuff if he retires. So you're probably going to get extra content besides the Guess the Banzuke. Just don't know when I'm going to release it. Army says, enjoy the rest of the Basho, everyone. Yes, everybody enjoy it. I hope it gets very interesting in the next couple of days. I will write some stuff in the community tab so you guys can still interact with me. I usually try to post my thoughts later in the day because every once in a while someone doesn't watch sumo until 7 p.m. at night, and then I've spoiled it for them, and I don't want to do that. Monster will concur in your opinions. My notes are very close. I did have Asanayama on the Juryo chopping block, which Monster did not have on his list, so he has to put that on his list. He says he thinks the demotion picture is congested enough to save Asanayama, but yeah, I mean, if you know he's not coming back, I don't think they would save him. I think they would just automatically demote him, wouldn't they? That's usually how it goes. All right, guys. I'll give you a minute to say any final thoughts. We're approaching the 11 p.m. hour. That's usually as long as I can go. My apologies for coming late, but hey, we still did over an hour show. And we're going to have a show on Monday. And like I said, there will be plenty of extra content coming your way. Yes, I think Asanayama will be leaving the Juryo. Be a long time before we see him again. Good night, Army. Thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Good chat, everyone. I'm going to bed. Oh, if Mitch is going to bed, we officially have done what we need to do here. Because usually he's trying to stall me. Good night, Mitch. Good night, Monster. Good night, Army. Thank you all. Thank you, Habob Gob. Greatness 2006. Quackadoo, as always. STZ02. K-Bunny is long gone at this point. I think for stuff like Asanayama, they should just take him off the Banzuke until he's back, then calculate where he fits in. What a waste of a slot. I agree. I really don't like the way they do it. They said he is targeting a January return, but I believe that's when I see it. Yeah, I don't believe that. Good night, Monster. Thank you, as always, for your promotion-demotion picture. It makes my life easier because I can always go back. Good night. I'll see you on Goose's channel. Awesome. Hobob Gob. You got to chat with Goose because you guys will get along well. Thank you all for joining me these last 2 nights, and enjoy the tournament, and I will hopefully talk to you soon on the community tab and on the chat for the recap. Good night.